Today, we're gonna be going over the 6 must-have mods for your Duramax. Now this is mostly gonna apply to the LB7, LLY, and LBZs, but it'll also apply to a lot of the other Duramax generations in different forms. So all these parts are just gonna introduce more airflow through the engine, help keep it cooler, and also make it sound a little bit better. Let's get into it, dude! All right, time to fix some shit. Oh, that was a good transition clip right there. Mod 1, the 3-inch downpipe from PPE is going to create better airflow coming out of the back of the turbocharger. Mod 2, the S&B intake and the turbo mouthpiece are going to increase the airflow drastically and pull air from a better location in the engine bay. Mod 3, the EGR delete with the uppipe included is going to remove the EGR system entirely and stop exhaust gas from being recirculated back into our engine. Mod 4, the PCV reroute is going to redirect the crankcase gases so they're not vented back into our intake. Mod 5, the exhaust is going to increase our airflow, create less back pressure, and sound 100 times better. Mod 6, the 5-stage tune from Peakside Performance is going to allow our vehicle to run efficiently for the purposes that we're using it for, towing in this case, and it's going to provide us with options that we can switch back and forth between. Okay, so now we're starting on the passenger side uppipe. This is probably the most difficult part of this whole video, and that's due to these bolts here. So there's 3 down on the bottom here. There's 1 here, 1 on the back, and 1 up top that you can see we're on right now. There's also 3 on the back side of the turbo pedestal up here. Really hard to gain access to. So I've been soaking these in penetrating fluid for the last 3 days to get them prepped because they can be a real pain to get out. Especially if you break them, it's going to make your life a lot harder. So hopefully this all goes well. If all these come out, life is going to be really easy. If we snap one, it's going to be a lot more difficult. We'll see what happens. And now I'm just going to work this. We got a little bit of movement there. I'm just going to work it back and forth before I really start reefing on it, so it kind of breaks it loose a bit. Because if you start, you'll feel it when it loosens up, and if it gets tight again, it might be leaning towards breaking. So we're just going to kind of work it back and forth a bit. Hopefully it'll be nice to us and spin right out. But we're moving. Eat that up, brother. Okay, we gotta save this gasket right here. Need that guy in our life. These tabs, keep in mind what way they face. So these ones face towards the front of the vehicle. Okay, we have 2 more. These attached to the EGR cooler. And these ones are just nuts, they're not actual bolts, so much less of a worry than the other two. But we're gonna unbolt these last two, probably not use this clip at all, and then it's gonna come out. We're so free, bro. Look at that pile of turd. Oh, look at this comparison. Fresh from the Dirty Diesel factory. Woo! YouTube.
This one wasn't too bad at all. So if you're just doing the block plate.
Shout out to the guys who are actually watching this shit, because you know what? We put a lot of effort into this, and we may not do crazy views, but we appreciate the people that actually take the time to watch it, all right?
Love it.
It makes it worthwhile for me to spin this fucking bolt out. Okay, well, let's start by losing the hoses. I hate all of you, I'm cutting. I gotta set up the vert vid, bro. This is for the TikTok. Make sure you go watch that too. Yeah, come on. Get her out of there, bro. PCV reroute is super easy. There's a bolt right here that we gotta take out. I've already spun it. So that guy's gonna come out. We're gonna disconnect this. Same thing on this side. There's one bolt going in right down in this crack down here. You'll find it. It looks the exact same as that side. We're gonna pull that. This whole piece will pull out, and then we just run a new tube. Boom. Life's good. One mud down. Now you do want to remove this bad boy just so you've got some clearance to get back in there, because it's in a bit of an awkward spot. And then we're just gonna reach down and give her the old. And we're gonna pull this whole piece out. So, there's a side with an O-ring. That's the side that's gonna go down. This is the side that we're gonna connect our new hose to. So we're gonna put it in, and then we're gonna bolt it in, same spot as the other bolt was before. Then we're just gonna run a hose up and over. Should be nice and simple, or so they say. Oh yeah, hell yeah. Take one of these bad boys. Get our nice little chunk of hose here. We're gonna get this piece on. Okay, we're just gonna get that set on there so that when we pop it on in there, we don't have to deal with it. Okay, we're gonna slide our little ring down there, tighten her up. Okay, we're gonna take this other one. It's gonna go in the same spot where we pulled the original piece out. Just gotta wiggle her in there a little bit. It's gonna be tight because that O-ring should be. We're gonna line that up with the bolt hole right here. The bolts are down. Now we're gonna install our up pipe. So you have to reuse your original gaskets. They're just marked for me so I know which way they're supposed to face. So we're gonna put our gasket on, put it up there. It's gonna bolt on the back. I'm telling you this now because it's really hard to see because it's tight back there. But getting the bolts out is the hard part. Putting them in is the easy part, so shouldn't be much of an issue. Pipe in. It's gonna be harder to access this with a clamp after this pipe is on. So we're gonna run our hose. It goes from here to that plastic barb on the wall back there where we removed the hose originally. We've got our extra piece of hose that Dirty Diesel includes in the kit. So we're just gonna go ahead, put our fitting on here. We're gonna start here. I'm gonna leave it loose, just like we kind of left the other hose for the time being, so I can make sure it runs correctly with everything else. And we're just gonna get it on this bottom piece first. Now that that's on, we can put the pipe on. Just gonna put our little O-ring in here. Squeezing tight. Look at that manufacturing. They got it on the money. This is basically just gonna flip up. This end, it's gonna go in this boot here. And then this piece is gonna come up and mount under this wire harness right here. go ahead and move on to the turbo mouthpiece. So typically for the PCV reroute, you would have to plug this piece, but they come with a little plug and it's much prettier. So you just put that plug in there and that solves that problem already for us. Shout out S&B for being prepared for people to make power. And get it in place. Now we don't want to tighten this all the way right away because we still have to do the intake. So we're gonna just tighten it up so it's snug, but we can still rotate it like this and adjust it to where we need it to be. Now we can roughly route our PCV delete hose. It's gonna come down and attach to this other barb on the far side here. And then we're gonna cut a 3-way T in roughly right around here. We're gonna run that down the firewall away from all the hot stuff. And it's gonna exit down near the frame rail there, and that's gonna vent all those crankcase vapors. Now we're gonna route this hose up from the bottom. We're gonna run it on this side of this hose so it stays away from all the hot boys down there. Now we just gotta route this down. We'll just zap strap it in a couple places so it's nice and secure, and we'll dump it out right over the frame rail. So now we're just rerouting this hose to its final piece, that plastic barb on the firewall. So we're just gonna measure the length. We're gonna hold it up. You want to route it in a place kind of away from all the hot stuff as well. So we're going to put it in this maze of tubes that we got going. It's going to run parallel right here. We're just going to go back with my fingers and find the end of that barb, hold on to it where it is on the hose, and then pull it out, and we can cut it in the right spot. Clamp goes on. We're going to get this lined up. It should just, oh man, that went on like butter actually. Okay, just make sure it's tucked up right against the end where it should be. You want to put your clamp not all the way to the very end, but just a little bit off the end so it has something to hold on to. Slide it on there. We're gonna reach back, tighten her up. We're on to the air intake now. So that attaches to our turbo mouthpiece we already put on. You've got this boot, 2 clamps, fairly straightforward. All we're gonna do is take this clamp, put it over the boot, slide it onto one side of the turbo mouthpiece here. Now these are really well-made kits, so it gets right on there. And then we're gonna put the other one right on here. And you just wanna make sure it's within that band all the way around. So we're gonna get it somewhat snug, and then just make sure it's sitting in the right spot. Now we grab this bad boy right here, and our other ring. And then this bar right here is why we left this loose still. We're gonna take our air box from the kit, which is gonna be this bad boy right here. We're gonna punch it in, get it in place, and then we can adjust this to the right height before we tighten down that little clamp on the turbo mouthpiece. This is gonna come with 4 different kind of, I don't know, plugs or gaskets. There's one square one, that's gonna plug this bottom. We've got a piece that goes against here so it kind of seals up against that fender, the inside of the fender. This piece is going to go on the other side, the circular area, and that creates a good seal on the actual intake tubing. And then this piece goes up top like this, and then our little plastic piece, nice see-through piece that S&B makes, it's going to go here, and that lets you see your air filter at all times. You can tell if it's getting dirty or not. We just have to pull these 2 bolts that hold this tray down. That's where it's going to mount each of these corners. It's also going to use, looks like this bolt right here to mount as well, so 3 points. Now we should be able to take our air box, we're going to slide this old girl back down where she belongs. This is going to seal up nice and tight against that fender, and then we just pop a couple bolts in. Yeah, so there's 2 bolts included because 2 of them are short, and then there's 1 longer one which came from this front corner. So they do give you 2 replacements. These guys thread right in both the corners. So you got 1 here, and then 1 in this back corner over here. All right, we're just gonna toss the filter in now. Airbox is nice and secure. It's a bit of a tight squeeze. You just wanna try to get this lip over the intake piping here. You can push it back a little if you need. And then just make sure you have this little band on before you put it in there. If you put it in and then you realize you don't have it on, you'll probably be annoyed with yourself. You just take this, slide it over, make sure it fits up. You've got this nice edge to tell you where to get to. Push it up to there, tighten this bad boy on. You can see it kind of droops naturally just because it's not tight. So just make sure when you're tightening it, you hold it up. Now we can take this bad boy. You can see there's one side with a little gap for this flap. I'm just gonna lay it in here at that point. And then we're gonna grab this old girl. We're gonna start with this corner. The angled corner goes where this tab is. Slide this bottom end in like that. Push down, push this guy over. We just gotta stretch it on. There we go. And then this groove goes around here. Push that down and in. There. That's it. We got her. Okay, now that we've got our intake piping all happy in place, we can tighten up that band that's holding our turbo mouthpiece on. She's good. Look at that. No movement, looks happy. Take our clip, just go like this. Boom, that's back in place. We gotta zap strap this guy in place. You can see I've got two because I didn't have one that's long enough. Oh yeah, well, hell yeah. Now I actually removed the dipstick tube for the transmission. The seal for it on the transmission up under there was pretty nasty and crusty, and it was like kind of falling apart. So we got a new one. We're gonna go ahead and put that guy in right away. All that packing for this cute little guy. I must say though, rather it be overpacked than underpacked. Whoa. Literally just this little guy. This little plastic guy. We're just gonna pop it out, pop this back in. Okay, seal's in. These guys face this way though. They just go on the back of the bell housing. Hold on. Ooh, okay. This guy, we can just hand spin on for now. We don't want to bolt this in place yet because we still have to do the downpipe. What we're gonna do before that, since we now have our beautiful exhaust, is we're gonna get this whole exhaust system out of the way. So I have it ratchet strapped right now to the frame in two spots. We're gonna release that. We're gonna cut this whole exhaust system out of the way. Now, could you just disassemble it and do it nicely? Yeah. Could you just save a lot of time and cut it with a grinder? Also, yeah. That's what we're doing. Downpipe's gonna go in now. This piece is gonna go up top. You can see there's kind of a difference between the two. This one's more of like a, I don't know, a flange. This one's gonna go up top on the back of the turbo. So we're gonna put it in through the wheel well. It's probably gonna be a little bit tight. We're just gonna have to wiggle our way up. So we've got our first piece, the correct hanger. Now the tricky part is just going to be getting the hangers situated so they're hanging correctly in the right spots. Then we've got our extension pipe and then another 18-inch extension because we've got a coupe cab truck. So all the correct hangers again. This is our mid pipe. Back here we have our muffler delete, don't tell the cops. This is the over axle pipe, and then the tail pipe is the only one that actually has the hanger mounted to the pipe itself. The rest all use hangers that are mounted to the clamps. But should be fairly straightforward from here. So we're just gonna start popping all those pieces in and see how it goes. All right guys, exhaust is finally on. We've got to run all the way back. Now it is missing the tailpipe at the very back there because my final exhaust hanger was no good. Just figured I'd show you how this all hangs. Runs back, mid pipe goes under this cross member, comes straight through these cross members, all the way up to where our downpipe is up there. Connects right at this point here, downpipe goes up. Now everything is snug on this. We routed our PCV delete hose down and over. So with all that wrapped up, we are on to the last modification, which is going to be the tune. Now the tune is necessary when you do an EGR delete, otherwise you're gonna have a check engine on that dash at all times. So we're gonna have the guy from Peakside Performance, Brent the Magician, come out. He's gonna get this thing tuned up. We're gonna show you guys the process, and then this thing is going to be wrapped up. All right guys, so tune is all wrapped up. We've got our DSP5 switch here. This allows us to switch back and forth in between tunes on the fly. So what happens is we run some wires underneath through the firewall from there, and it ties into a couple certain pins on the ECM. So it runs over, ECM's down in here. You pop these harnesses out and connect the pins in the right places. And then you just get your friend, the Magic Magician from Peakside Performance, Brent, to tune this bad boy. And then she's ready to go. So all that's left to do is fire this up. Oh, why don't I just get you to start it?
Why don't I start it?
Now, this tip is just temporarily on there. We're gonna put a 6-inch polished elbow on, so it's not really facing the right direction, but that sounds way better. Brent put a little rumble tune on for us. So that's tune 2. That's tune 1. What do you think, Ange?
Cool.
What are your thoughts? Yeah? How does it sound?
Cool.
Yeah? You approve?
Like the big truck.
Okay, Ange, give it a little sauce. Should we take it for a spin?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's see how she pulls. Still have an exhaust leak, so don't roast me in the comments, okay? I'm waiting on the uppipe gasket to come in. So that's the squeal that you hear. One of the uppipe gaskets is letting air out. But other than that, it sounds really good. The squeal is annoying. All right guys, that's gonna wrap this one up. This thing's sounding 1,000 times better. If you like the video, make sure you subscribe. We're gonna be doing traction bars, the polished tip, and a bunch of other cool things coming up soon. So make sure you stick around for that. We'll see you in the next one. Yippee. Did you know I've been doing social media for a decade?
Damn, bro, you're old. You're like 45, brother.
Don't put that in the video.